I'll say to you all about anybody who's had a theft or vandalism of their vehicle. The reason why there's OnStar and GPS on the later model vehicles, new and used or leased, is because of the fact that they know the car thieves are getting more sophisticated and outright bold and brazen. So here's what happens when your car gets vandalized. You walk out, you don't see anything out of the normal, like what happened with both my neons that I had. About 3 years ago, about maybe a year or something after that, I had a Plymouth Neon that I just junked here about maybe 3 weeks ago, and this is 2016. I walked out to get into my vehicle, and I saw my ignition switch was laying on the floor inside of the car. When I walked around to the driver's side of the vehicle, I noticed that someone had popped the driver's side lock, and my driver's seat had been pushed back, and I rendered the vehicle useless. The anti-theft that's on a older make 2000 Plymouth or Dodge Neon or Dodge Stratus, it can be rendered useless because you can't start the car. You can't put it in neutral with the ignition switch being out. And technically you have to have the vehicle towed. With the OnStar system on the newer 2007 and up to the 2016 vehicles, the GPS and OnStar of those cars are to prevent theft. Okay, it's also to prevent people who call themselves trying to hide a vehicle. You cannot hide a vehicle with the GPS and OnStar on those cars. All the dealership has to do is to disable the vehicle, and if the owner reports it stolen, then the only thing that's going to happen is the OnStar GPS location will give it'll transmit a signal, and the signal will tell the police where the car is at, and then the owner can recover it, and then they can get it repaired, and then they can possibly go after whoever even did it. With the older make cars that's 15 and 20 years old, prior to 2006 or 2005, those vehicles don't have a GPS or an OnStar on those cars, so they are more prone and more vulnerable to be stolen and vandalized. And that means that if you've had that happen, where I had both happen to two 2000 Neons, it was not pleasant, because the anti-theft on those cars is technically, it doesn't prevent somebody from vandalizing your car. It doesn't prevent anybody from stealing your car either. So a word of caution: if you have an anti-theft on your vehicle, make sure that it works. That's the first thing you do. Make sure the remote works. If anything with that anti-theft system on that car does not work, you need to get it looked at and see if it can be repaired. If you do have an OnStar GPS, do not be fooled into thinking that your car cannot be stolen. There is a device online right now that thieves are buying, and what they're doing is they're using this little device to use the code to disable your vehicle. That means the anti-theft, anti-lock system can be disabled, and which is the GPS on your car. That's how they're using that. That device should not be able to be accessed to be available on the internet, but unfortunately these thieves know that they can buy these devices online. That's what the purpose is for. The only people who should have access to those types of devices is the dealership, the manufacturer, and the actual owner of the vehicle. No one else should have a device to disable an OnStar or a GPS to steal your car.